The old farmhouse stood alone at the edge of a quiet village, its roof half broken and its walls covered with dry cracks. And the wind always made a sad whistling sound through the empty windows. Ethan, the lonely human father, looked at it with tired, hopeful eyes. He wanted a new beginning for himself and for his small daughter, Lily. After losing his wife, the city felt too loud and too painful. He wanted silence. He wanted space. He wanted anything that felt like a fresh start. So he bought the ruined farmhouse, even though everyone in the village warned him that strange things happened near it. The villagers whispered about glowing lights at night. They talked about metallic sounds coming from the barn. They said the previous owner vanished without a trace. But Ethan did not believe their stories. He believed only in rebuilding his life and keeping Lily safe. The farmhouse looked broken, but Ethan believed he could fix it. Lily stepped out of their small car and held her father's hand tightly. Her brown eyes were full of curiosity and a little fear. She asked if they were really going to live here. Ethan smiled softly and said yes. This place was now their home. Lily tried to smile back, but she kept looking toward the barn. It stood far behind the house, its door half open as if someone had opened it recently. The inside was dark and silent. Ethan closed the car door and told Lily not to worry. He said they would clean everything tomorrow after unpacking, but the truth was simple. Even he felt a strange pressure in the air, something heavy. Something watching. Inside the farmhouse, dust floated like tiny ghosts in the sunlight. The wooden floor made soft, cracking sounds under their feet. Lily walked around the living room and touched the old fireplace. Ethan told her stories about how she could decorate it with drawings. He wanted her to feel warm and safe here, but Lily suddenly stopped. She turned her head slowly toward the hallway. She told her father she heard someone walking inside the walls. Ethan listened carefully, but heard nothing. He told Lily it was probably rats or just the old house settling. She nodded, but her face stayed pale. Later that evening, Ethan started repairing a broken window, while Lily played with her stuffed rabbit on the floor. The sun was going down, and the house looked darker. Ethan hit the wooden frame with a hammer to fit the glass. The hammer made a loud, deep thud. And suddenly, the ground under the farmhouse vibrated softly. Dust fell from the ceiling like falling sand. Ethan froze for a moment. The vibration was too strong to be from his hammer. Lily asked what happened. Ethan forced a smile and said the floor was weak, but inside his chest. His heart started beating a little faster. When night came, the farmhouse became colder. The wind blew across the fields and made the broken roof whistle. Ethan and Lily prepared for bed. Lily asked if she could sleep in his room for the first night. Ethan agreed. He knew she needed to feel safe. As they turned off the lights, Lily heard a soft metallic click outside near the barn. Ethan heard it too. This time it was clear, sharp, and not the sound of animals or wind. He walked to the window and looked toward the dark fields. The barn door was moving slowly, as if someone was gently pushing it from inside. Ethan locked the main door tightly. He told Lily everything was fine, but his eyes kept returning to the barn. The night grew deeper and colder. The silence felt heavier. And somewhere far behind the farmhouse, a pair of faint glowing eyes blinked once in the darkness, watching the house quietly, patiently, as if waiting for the right moment to step forward. The ruined farmhouse was not empty anymore. Something had arrived, something that did not belong to Earth at all. Morning sunlight touched the ruined farmhouse softly. But Ethan felt uneasy the moment he opened his eyes. He had not slept well because every sound in the night felt too close, too real. He tried to ignore the memory of the moving barn door. He told himself it was just wind, but deep inside he knew the sound was different. Lily woke up slowly beside him and rubbed her eyes. She said she dreamed of tall, shining women standing inside their house. Ethan laughed nervously and told her it was only a dream. But Lily looked serious and said she heard voices whispering her name. Ethan walked into the living room to make breakfast. He froze when he saw the front door slightly open. He always locked it before sleeping. The lock was not broken, but it looked as if someone opened it quietly from the inside. The air in the room felt like someone had been standing there moments ago. Watching everything, Ethan checked each room carefully. He didn't find anyone, but something felt wrong. Too wrong. Lily sat at the table with her stuffed rabbit in her arms. She whispered that they were here. Ethan asked who she meant, and she replied. The ladies from the barn. Ethan felt a cold shiver run through his back. He tried to calm her, but even he couldn't completely calm himself. He needed to check the barn. He needed answers. He stepped outside. The morning air was cold, and the fields looked quiet but heavy somehow. Ethan walked toward the barn with slow, careful steps. Every dry leaf crackled loudly under his feet. The barn door stood half open, just like last night. He pushed it slowly and looked inside. There were fresh footprints on the dusty floor, 2 sets of large footprints, too large for humans, as if 2 tall beings had walked around the barn all night. Ethan's heart pounded harder. He backed away and hurried toward the house, but as soon as he stepped on the porch, the air changed. It felt thicker, heavier, as if something powerful had entered the space. Ethan reached for the door, but before he could touch it, the door opened on its own from inside. Lily stood there with wide, frightened eyes and whispered, "Dad, they're here." Ethan entered the living room and froze. 2 tall alien women stood calmly in the center of the room. One had pale blue skin that glowed faintly like moonlight. The other had silver patterns moving slowly across her arms like living tattoos. Their long white hair fell softly over armor that looked like crystal and metal mixed together. Their eyes were bright like stars, too bright, too sharp, too powerful for human eyes. Neither of them looked afraid or confused. They stood like they belonged there. The silver-patterned one spoke first. Her voice calm and smooth as water, she said, "Human, you have purchased land that does not belong to your kind." Ethan stepped in front of Lily and told them to leave the house immediately. The blue-skinned woman tilted her head slowly. Studying Ethan like he was some strange, curious creature, she said they would not harm the child. But the house and the land under it were connected to their fallen clan. Ethan asked what they wanted, and the silver-patterned woman answered simply, "We came to claim what was ours long before your people walked this world." Ethan tried to stay brave, but his voice shook as he said this farmhouse was legally his now. They did not understand or did not care. The blue-skinned woman touched the wooden floor with her fingertips. A sharp vibration rushed across the whole house. The walls trembled, the windows rattled. Dust fell from the ceiling. Lily hid behind Ethan and held his legs tightly. The silver-patterned alien looked at Ethan with curious surprise. She said, "Why does a human father stand between warriors and danger? Your kind usually runs." Ethan simply replied, "My daughter is behind me." And his voice carried a strength neither alien expected. Both alien women exchanged a silent look. Their glowing eyes softened with something almost like respect. But then the blue-skinned one said quietly, "You must leave this place. For your own survival." Ethan refused again. And for the first time, the silver-patterned woman's expression changed. She looked toward the earth beneath the house and whispered, "Then you must hear the truth. Something buried under this farmhouse has awakened." And with that, the room suddenly felt colder, heavier, and far more dangerous. The real threat was only beginning. Ethan stood frozen as the 2 alien women stared at the floor as if something alive was sleeping under the wood. The silver-patterned woman slowly knelt and placed her hand on the ground. Her glowing fingers made the floor vibrate softly. Lily hid behind Ethan and clutched his shirt tightly. Ethan wanted to speak, but fear held his voice. The blue-skinned woman finally lifted her eyes and said, "Human father, something ancient under your home has awakened because of you." Ethan's confusion grew. He asked what they meant. The silver-patterned woman explained that the old farmhouse was built directly above a buried war beacon, an alien device from a long-lost war. She said it had been silent for centuries, hidden, forgotten, dead, until last night when Ethan hit the floor with his hammer. That impact sent a pulse through the beacon, a pulse strong enough to send a signal into the sky, a signal that many dangerous beings had been waiting for. Ethan felt the air leave his chest. He looked at Lily, who looked even more frightened. He asked why they didn't stop the signal. The blue-skinned woman replied quietly, "Because the beacon chooses when it speaks, and last night, it chose you." Ethan didn't understand how a simple human man could activate something so alien, so powerful, but the silver-patterned woman said it was not his strength but his presence. She said the beacon reacts to life, and sometimes two hearts filled with pain and change. Outside the farmhouse, a cold wind blew across the fields. The barn door creaked slowly, as if listening to the conversation. Ethan tried to process everything. He asked if the signal was dangerous. Both alien women exchanged a silent, heavy look. Then the blue-skinned woman stepped closer and said softly, "The signal will draw hunters from the sky. Creatures who want the beacon's power, they will come here, to this house, to this land." Ethan's heart dropped. He looked at Lily and instantly stepped in front of her again. The silver-patterned woman watched his movement with surprise. She whispered to her partner that humans were strange. Most species did not defend family with such instinct. Ethan did not care what they thought. He demanded to know how to keep his daughter safe. The blue-skinned alien replied, "You must leave the farmhouse," but the silver-patterned woman added, "even if you run. The hunters will track the beacon's pulse inside you." Ethan felt his blood turn cold. He asked how the beacon could be inside him. The silver alien explained that when he struck the floor, the energy scanned him, marked him, accepted him. In its own strange way, it had chosen him as a protector. Ethan shook his head in disbelief. He said he was only a father, a simple man. But the aliens told him the beacon didn't choose soldiers or weapons. It chose hearts. A sudden, sharp beeping sound filled the room. It came from a small, triangular crystal device hanging from the silver alien's belt. She grabbed it quickly. Her glowing eyes widened with shock. She whispered something in her own language, a soft, cold sound that made Ethan's skin crawl. The blue-skinned woman turned toward the window, and her voice hardened. "They found the signal. They are coming." Ethan rushed to the window, but saw nothing except empty fields waving in the wind. The silver alien warned that the hunters traveled fast, faster than any human machine. The sky above the farmhouse shimmered faintly, as if something invisible was entering the atmosphere. Lily whimpered quietly and hid behind Ethan again. The blue alien stepped closer to Lily and said, "We will protect the child, even if the father does not trust us." Ethan did not know what to believe. But he felt one thing strongly: whatever was coming for them was not human, not friendly, and not far. The ground shook again beneath their feet, stronger this time, as if something huge had landed in the fields. The war beacon had spoken, and the universe had listened. The shaking under the farmhouse grew stronger. Dust fell from the ceiling like soft gray rain. Lily grabbed Ethan's hand so tightly her small fingers trembled. Ethan tried to stay calm, even though his chest felt tight with fear. He looked at the alien women who stood alert and silent. Their glowing eyes focused on the windows. The air around them felt electric, tense, ready for something violent. The blue-skinned alien moved toward the front door with smooth, quiet steps. She placed her hand on the wood and whispered that the hunters were close. Much closer than expected. Ethan's heart pounded so fast it felt painful. He asked who these hunters were. The silver-patterned woman explained that they were a brutal species that lived only for combat and blood. They had been searching for the war beacon for generations. Now that the signal had awakened, they would not stop until they found it. Ethan felt anger rise in him. He asked what they wanted with his home. The silver alien said it was not the home they wanted. It was the beacon beneath its hand, now Ethan himself. Because the beacon had marked him, Ethan felt a deep chill crawl up his spine. He looked at Lily and knew he would do anything, absolutely anything, to protect her from these creatures. Outside, a strange animalistic roar echoed across the quiet fields. The sound was deep and sharp at the same time. Unnatural, the blue-skinned alien said softly. They have landed. Ethan ran to the window. He saw nothing at first, only the tall wheat moving in the breeze. Then, suddenly, the wheat bent sharply as something large moved quickly through it. Something crawling, something hunting. The silver-patterned alien stepped beside Ethan and said, "You must leave with the child." Ethan shook his head instantly. He said he would not run while something dangerous came toward his daughter. Both aliens stared at him with surprise, almost confusion, as if they could not understand such stubborn courage. The blue alien asked, "Why protect this place?" "Humans usually flee," Ethan replied in a steady voice, "because this is our home now. And Lily is behind me." His simple answer made both aliens fall silent for a moment. The blue-skinned woman then nodded slowly, as if Ethan had proven something without knowing. She said they would fight with him to protect the child. The silver-patterned alien looked around the farmhouse and began marking weak spots on the walls with glowing lines. She explained they needed to reinforce the house before the hunters arrived. Ethan helped without hesitation. He pushed heavy furniture against windows. He blocked doors with wooden boards. He stacked old crates near the entrance. His movements were fast, desperate, but full of determination. The aliens watched him work and whispered to each other in their language. Surprised by his courage and resourcefulness, a sudden loud thud hit the wall from outside. Then another. Then scratches, long metallic scratches that made the wood groan. Lily screamed softly and hid under the table. The blue alien motioned for Ethan to stay back as she approached the door slowly. The scratching stopped. Then a heavy silence filled the room. Without warning, the door exploded inward. A massive hunter creature burst through, tall, armored, with glowing red lines across its body. Its claws were long and sharp, like curved blades. Its head looked like a skull covered in metal plates. It roared so loudly, the walls shook. Ethan grabbed Lily and pulled her into the corner. The blue-skinned alien moved with lightning speed. She struck the creature with a blast of energy from her hand. The hunter stumbled but did not fall. It roared again and charged at her. The silver alien leaped forward and slashed the creature's leg with a glowing blade. Ethan watched the fight in shock. The room was filled with energy blasts, sparks, broken wood, and the terrifying cries of the hunter. The aliens fought like trained warriors, but the creature was strong. Too strong, then more roars came from outside. More hunters surrounding the farmhouse. Ethan realized one terrible truth. The walls of the farmhouse shook as more hunters slammed against them from outside. Ethan held Lily close, his arms wrapped around her as if he could shield her from the entire universe. The blue-skinned alien rolled across the floor and fired another burst of glowing energy at the massive hunter inside. The creature roared and swung its claw, breaking a wooden beam with one strike. Pieces of wood flew across the room. The silver-patterned alien grabbed Ethan's shoulder and shouted for him to move. Her voice was sharp but not unkind. She pushed him and Lily behind an overturned table. Ethan crouched low, breathing hard, his arms still around his daughter. The aliens fought with impossible speed in the center of the room, their glowing weapons leaving streaks of light with every movement. A second hunter smashed through the side window. The wooden frame exploded into splinters. The creature crawled inside with a deep growl. Its red glowing eyes locked immediately on Lily. Ethan felt his chest twist with fear. Without thinking, he stood up and grabbed a broken metal pipe from the floor. He stepped in front of Lily with shaking legs but firm eyes. The silver alien shouted at him to stay back. But Ethan didn't listen. The hunter lunged at him. Ethan swung the pipe with all his strength. The sound echoed through the room. Metal hit the creature's jaw. It stumbled but recovered quickly. It raised its claw to strike him down. Before the claw could land, the blue-skinned alien leaped between them and released a blast of blue light that sent the creature crashing against the wall. She turned to Ethan with shock in her eyes. She said, "Human, you do not fear death." Ethan didn't answer. He only said, "It tried to reach my daughter," and his voice shook with anger, not fear. Outside, more roars thundered across the fields. Shadows moved between the wheat, tall armored bodies circling the house. The farmhouse lights flickered as the hunters struck the outside walls again and again. The ground trembled as if a storm had arrived. The silver-patterned alien ran to the window and shouted that the hunters were forming a pack. She said they wanted to break the house from all sides at once. Ethan asked what to do. The blue alien replied they needed to push the hunters back, or the entire structure would collapse. Ethan felt a rush of desperation. He scanned the room and saw tools, heavy boxes, old metal rods. He started grabbing whatever he could, dragging furniture across broken floors, creating barriers, stacking crates, blocking the doors. The silver-patterned alien watched him for a moment with something like admiration in her glowing eyes. She whispered to her partner, "He fights without training," the blue alien replied. "He fights because he loves." Before they could speak more, the main door burst open again. A gigantic hunter entered. Larger than all the others, its armor thick. Its claws long like swords, its chest pulsing with red light. It roared so loudly the farmhouse windows cracked instantly. Lily covered her ears and cried. Ethan grabbed her and pushed her behind a fallen cabinet for safety. The blue alien attacked first, but the giant hunter blocked her strike easily and threw her across the room like a doll. She crashed into the wall and fell to her knees. The silver alien jumped at the creature with a glowing blade, but the hunter caught her arm and lifted her off the ground. Her feet kicked helplessly in the air. Ethan felt something break inside him. He could not watch these women fight alone. He could not watch Lily cry in fear. He could not stay silent while the house shook like it was about to fall apart. He grabbed a heavy toolbox and charged at the giant hunter, screaming. The creature turned, surprised by the courage of a human man. Ethan hurled the toolbox at its head. The metal case crashed into the hunter's face and knocked it back a step. Giving the silver alien a chance to break free, she landed beside Ethan, breathing hard. Surprised by his bravery, she said, "You protect us too. Why?" Ethan's answer was simple, fierce, and full of fire. "Because this is my home, and you're in it." That's enough. Outside, the rest of the hunters began closing in, surrounding the house completely. The real storm was approaching. The farmhouse felt like it was shrinking with every roar outside. The walls cracked, the ceiling groaned, and dust fell like dry snow. Lily hid under the cabinet with trembling hands, watching her father stand between monsters and their home. Ethan's heartbeat pounded like a drum inside his ears, but he did not step back, not even 1 inch. The giant hunter shook its head after Ethan's attack. Its red eyes narrowed with anger. It growled and charged again. The silver-patterned alien grabbed Ethan's arm and pulled him aside just in time. The creature's claws sliced through the wooden floor where Ethan had been standing only seconds earlier. The blue-skinned alien rose from the shattered wall, bruised but focused. A bright blue glow spread across her hands, stronger than before, fueled by something deeper. She glanced at Ethan, her voice rough but steady. "We fight together. Human father." Ethan nodded, breathless but brave. He didn't know how to fight alien war creatures, but he knew how to protect his child, and now he felt the same instinct. Rising for the two alien women, they had fought for Lily too. They had not run. They stood with him, so he would stand with them. The giant hunter roared again. The sound shook the windows. Cracks spread across the glass like spiderwebs. The silver alien rushed forward with her glowing blade, striking its leg. Sparks flew. The creature stumbled but stayed standing. Ethan grabbed a broken wooden beam and swung it at the creature's back. The beam cracked in half, but the impact distracted the hunter. That distraction saved the silver alien. She rolled away as the creature slammed a claw where she had been standing. Then the blue-skinned alien unleashed a powerful beam of blue light straight into the giant hunter's chest. The hit pushed the creature back several steps, its armor smoking, its red lines dimming for a moment. Outside, more hunters clawed at the walls, their shadows shifting across the windows. The house shook as if 100 fists were pounding the walls at once. The silver alien yelled that the hunters were getting impatient. They wanted the beacon, and they wanted Ethan. Ethan felt Lily's fear from across the room. He shouted for her to stay hidden no matter what. She nodded, tears in her eyes. The blue alien watched Ethan's face and whispered to her partner, his spirit. "It is not weak like we expected," the silver alien answered. "This human is different." The giant hunter roared again and leaped forward. This time, aiming directly at Ethan. The blue-skinned alien moved faster than sound. She pushed Ethan aside and took the hit herself. The creature's claw slammed into her shoulder. Sparks flew. From her armor, she fell hard against a broken table. Ethan ran toward her, shouting her name even though he didn't know it. The silver alien jumped onto the hunter's back and stabbed her glowing blade deep into the creature's spine. The giant hunter howled in pain and threw her off. But the damage was done. Its legs buckled. Its body shook violently. With one last roar, it collapsed to the floor, its red glow slowly dying. The room fell silent for a moment. Only Ethan's heavy breathing filled the air. The silver alien rose slowly, her body aching, her glowing blade dimming. She looked at Ethan with new eyes full of respect. "Something rare for her species," she said softly. "You saved us." A human saved warriors of the fallen clan. Ethan helped the blue-skinned alien stand, her armor cracked, sparks slipping through the gaps. She looked at him with disbelief and whispered, "No human has ever done what you did." Then something strange happened. The floor under the farmhouse began to glow with a deep golden light. The boards warmed under their feet. The vibration grew steady, powerful, almost like a heartbeat. The war beacon was awakening again. The silver alien stepped back in shock. She whispered, "It responds to him." "Only him," the blue-skinned alien added. "The beacon accepts the human father." Ethan didn't know what that meant, but the aliens did. They knelt before him, two alien warriors kneeling to a human father, something impossible, something legendary. But before Ethan could speak, beams of red light flashed through the windows. More hunters were coming. Not just a few hundreds. The glowing red lights outside grew brighter, shining through every crack in the broken farmhouse walls. Ethan stood in the center of the room with the two alien women beside him. Lily held his hand tightly, her small fingers cold with fear. The house creaked under the pressure of so many hunters surrounding it. Their growls echoed through the fields like thunder. Ethan knew he could not win against hundreds. Not even with the two alien warriors by his side. but he also refused to let fear control him. The silver-patterned alien shook her head slowly, her voice trembling with anger. They want the beacon, and they will destroy everything to get it. The blue-skinned alien stepped in front of Ethan and Lily, her glowing eyes dim with exhaustion. She whispered, "We will die protecting you. But the child must live." Ethan grabbed her shoulder firmly and said, "No one is dying tonight. Not you, not Lily, not anyone." Before she could argue, the ground beneath them shook harder than before. If something massive was descending from the sky, outside. The hunters paused. Their growls stopped. Their bodies lowered as if something far stronger than them had arrived. The sky above the farmhouse filled with a bright, golden light, brighter than the moon, brighter than the sun. A giant ship appeared silently, spreading across the sky like a floating city of shining gold and white metal. Ethan felt his breath stop. Lily whispered, "Daddy, is that an angel ship?" The two alien women exchanged shocked looks. Their expressions full of disbelief. The silver-patterned alien fell to one knee and whispered, "The Queen has come, the supreme leader of our fallen clan." A beam of golden light shot from the ship to the ground. Landing softly in front of the farmhouse, the hunters bowed instantly, their heads touching the soil, their bodies trembling in fear. Ethan watched the light twist and shape into a figure, tall, powerful, and glowing. The alien queen stepped forward. She was taller than any alien Ethan had seen. Her armor made of pure white crystal, her long hair floating like soft silver flames, her eyes glowing gold like small suns. The hunters stayed completely silent, terrified of her presence. The queen walked calmly toward the broken farmhouse door, her golden eyes studying everything: the damage, the bodies of fallen hunters, the cracked walls, the smell of battle. She stepped inside and looked at the two alien women first. They both lowered their heads and said, "Your Majesty, we failed to hide the beacon." The queen raised her hand softly, stopping them, her eyes turned toward Ethan. She studied him for a long moment, silent and unreadable. Ethan felt his chest tighten under her powerful gaze. Lily hid behind him. The queen finally spoke. Her voice deep, warm, and commanding. A human. Activated the sacred beacon. The silver-patterned alien nodded, her voice soft. "Yes, my queen." The beacon accepted him. The queen stepped closer to Ethan, her golden eyes glowing brighter. She placed her hand gently over his chest, right where the beacon's energy had marked him. Ethan felt a warm pulse spread through his body. Like a heartbeat from another world, the queen whispered, "This has not happened in thousands of years." A father with courage, strong enough to awaken a relic of war. Ethan swallowed hard and said, "I didn't awaken anything. I only protected my daughter." The queen's expression softened, something rare and powerful. She glanced at Lily, then at the two alien warriors, then at the hunters outside. Finally, she said, "The beacon has chosen you as guardian. This land, this house, this child. All are under my protection." The hunters outside roared in fear and then fled into the fields, disappearing into the dark. The queen turned to her warriors and spoke with respect. "You fought bravely, and you stood with a human father. From this day, he is clan." The two alien women looked at Ethan with pride and honor in their eyes. The queen then bowed her head slightly toward Ethan, something no alien had ever done for a human. She said, "The lonely farmhouse will never be lonely again. You have a place with us. We will stand with your family until the end of time." Ethan exhaled slowly, holding Lily close, as the two alien women stepped beside him, no longer strangers. No longer visitors, but protectors, and maybe something more. The ruined farmhouse had become the beginning of a legend. A new home. A new family, a new destiny.